This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Christine Leahy is joining me on a Tuesday, 1 hour from now. The Herd Hierarchy, our top 10 NFL teams, and our thoughts and well wishes to the people in northern Los Angeles counties now dealing with a really ugly, frightening, ravaging fire. That's an ongoing fluid situation. We wish you the very, very best. How are you, Christine?
I'm good. You have a lot to talk about with Steph today later.
Yeah,
right?
we have a really, really full show today. And, boy, the sports world gives us so many gifts. Let me start with this. There are times in sports when geography is a real advantage, obviously, right? Like if you were a college football program, you'd rather be a college football program in the South than in the Rockies. There's just more players to choose from, right? So that's an advantage geographically. If you're an NBA owner, I'd rather own a team in Miami or Los Angeles than, say, Indianapolis. Players would rather play in a winter league in warmer climates and more sun. There are times when geography can be an advantage in sports. The New York Giants and Eagles create great game day revenue. Jacksonville, a smaller market, is at a revenue disadvantage. There's no question. But think about Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. They played on Monday Night Football. The topography, the same. The weather, the same. The economies, mostly the same. Population, both have about 300,000 people. Metro, the same. Same division. Neither's a glamorous market. Same. What's the difference between these two organizations? It's not the great Rooney family. It's not the great coaches. It's not the great fans. It's not the better stadium. It's Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger. That's the difference. They played for Pittsburgh. And between those two, they have 6 Super Bowls. That game last night, there was a reason that any fan thought to themselves in the second half, oh, Pittsburgh will win this game. Because it was a Hall of Famer against Andy Dalton. End of the first half, end of the game, the Hall of Famer made the plays. We want to credit the buildings. We want to credit the owners. We want to credit people that don't actually play the most crucial position in the sport. In 20 years, the Rooney family, as great as they are, and all those great coaches, Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll, Mike Tomlin, in 20 years between Bradshaw and Big Ben, in a division with losers Cincinnati and Cleveland, they missed the playoffs 50% of the time. Big Ben last night, unfazed by weather, crowd, Monday Night Football spotlight, pass rush, even the terrifying injury to Ryan Shazier. Good news today, he has feelings, we are able to report, in his lower extremities, still in the hospital, but the news is very encouraging this morning. So when you see these mock drafts that all these bloggers do, and even some credible people, if you don't have Josh Rosen 1 and Sam Darnold 2, crumple them up and throw them away. Nobody's taking a guard, a linebacker. Nobody's taking a running back number 2. Nobody's taking that really hot corner from the South. They're taking a quarterback. The only time Cincinnati, same weather, same economy, same topography, same population, the only time they've gotten close to Super Bowls when Boomer Esiason and Carson Palmer were quarterbacks. Boomer got to one. There was never a minute in that second half, not a minute. And I didn't grow up in Pittsburgh. I'm not some big Steeler fan. There was never a minute I thought late in that game, ooh, Pittsburgh's in trouble. I just thought, get it back to Big Ben. And by the way, think about this. It's not like Big Ben, while he was been in Pittsburgh, has dealt with a bad Cincinnati team. They've had tremendous coaches. Mike Zimmer, as a coordinator, is now turned around the Vikings. Jay Gruden has done a remarkable job in Washington considering the injuries. Hugh Jackson, considered one of the brightest offensive coaches in football. During the Big Ben era, they've had A.J. Green in Cincinnati, and Chad Johnson, and Corey Dillon, and Takeo Spikes, and Justin Smith, and Geno Atkins, and Andrew Whitworth, and Vontez Burfict, and Pac-Man Jones, who's seemingly been in this league for 30 years. But the difference is Andy Dalton's 3-11 against Pittsburgh, and Big Ben is 23-7 against Cincinnati. That is why if you read a mock draft, crumple up the paper, go ahead and send an angry tweet if they don't have quarterbacks, number 1 and number 2. So I'm not sure. Let's move to basketball. LeVar Ball has mouth, will travel, has pulled his son LiAngelo Ball out of UCLA. How sad. The one-ball kid that has no shot to play in the NBA had a scholarship to a remarkable international university, UCLA, and his ego-driven dad pulls him out. Sources here say LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball are exploring options to play professionally overseas. My guess is China's probably out of the question. LeVar Ball fashions himself as the Kardashians of basketball. But here's the difference between the two. Having lived in this city for a couple of years, you find something out about the Kardashians. They have the best agents in the world representing them, and the best lawyers in Los Angeles, and the best retailers, and the best promotional people, and the best marketers. You endure in this country when you surround yourself with the best. LeVar Ball is just loud. Loud does not endure. Smart, qualified, shrewd, clever, savvy endures. The big baller brand now is a bust. 2 other kids are out of college. Lonzo's not the best rookie on the Lakers. And in fact, that organization has created a new rule to keep LeVar out of crucial areas after games. Don't get me wrong. You can be loud. Vince McMahon is, but he's really smart. And you can be noisy. Mark Cuban certainly is, but he's brilliant. You can talk trash. Conor McGregor does, but he's incredibly, incredibly talented. LeVar Ball's just loud. He's just loud. Loud doesn't last 50 years. Unless like Vince McMahon, loud is also encompassed by shrewd and smart and qualified and clever and calculated. Vince McMahon, Conor McGregor, Mark Cuban are loud and make noise. But they have a second, third, and fourth gear. He sees himself as a Kardashian. And many of you will roll your eyes at that because you don't watch those shows. But you don't last 15 years and have a net worth close to $500 million on just being flashy and loud. To endure in any industry, you've got to be able to back that up. The Big Baller brand is now a high-priced T-shirt company. Lonzo ain't the best Laker. The other 2 kids will never play college basketball. UCLA, congratulations. In 1 week, you've signed Chip Kelly and ditched the circus. It's a great week to be a Bruin in Westwood. All right, we are packed today. Doug Gottlieb's got thoughts on that. Jason Whitlock is, I'm told, firing on all cylinders today, next hour. The herd hierarchy as well. I do want to address that terrifying injury last night with Ryan Shazier. Again, the reports today, he is improving. Godspeed on that. And there is a feeling in his lower extremities. So he's getting some feeling back. And again, not out of the woods, but that's a really, really good thing. I missed that, actually. I got home. Monday Night Football on the West Coast starts at 5:30. When I lived on the East Coast, I never saw the end of Monday Night Football. And on the West Coast, I never catch the first quarter of Monday Night Football, so I didn't see it happen live. But as the night progressed, it obviously became a huge talking point, as it should be. We'll address that coming up next. You know, it's the holiday season, and when you're in the holiday season, people tend to open a bottle of wine. Yes, they do. How about a Cameron